Pleasant afternoon, everyone. Welcome to How to Invest in the Right Franchise webinar. This is Jen Canseco of the Philippine Franchise Association. Before we proceed to our webinar, allow me to take this opportunity to greet our Facebook Live viewers. Please join us in our discussion later by dropping your questions in the in the comment section. Also joining me today is my colleague Kat Teresa. Hi, Kat.
Hi, Jen. Greetings to all our participants. I hope everyone is staying healthy and strong as we approach the final month of the second quarter of 2021. I do hope that everyone is observing the proper health protocols so we could take part in winning against this virus. Moving forward, let us offer a short prayer. Let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Let us pray. Almighty God and Father, we thank you for gathering us virtually today for our webinar on how to invest in the right franchise. Look kindly on our hopes and aspirations and bless the work of our hands so that our labors will bear good fruit and will be of service to our neighbors. We pray that this activity will be an avenue for new opportunities, not only to our presenters, but to our attendees as well. We also pray that we will learn to always seek your will and your plans for us, for we know that as our Father, your plans are bigger than our plans. Lastly, we pray that you guide us out of this crisis and become better persons in doing our fair share to make this world a better place. All this we pray, trusting in your providence and mercy. Amen.
Thank you so much, Kat, for that wonderful prayer. I know everyone is excited to hear and learn from our speakers and discover great franchise business opportunities. Before we proceed, allow me to briefly remind everyone of our house rules. Ensure a stable internet connection for better viewing experience of the webinar. Kindly ask your questions related to the presentation through the Q&A box found at the lower portion of your screen. For presentations, kindly take screenshots using your devices to capture the slides, or you may watch the replay of How to Invest in the Right Franchise webinar on PFA Facebook and YouTube accounts. Should the presentation be too large or too small on your screen, kindly adjust in view options found at the top portion of your screen. You may opt to fit the screen or view side by side. If you want more information about a certain brand, please leave your contact details in the chat box with your name, email, mobile number, and the name of the brand you're interested in. For those who would like to request for an e-certificate, kindly email us at pfawebinars@pfa.org.ph and please indicate your full name, company or organization, and the reason for requesting the certificate. We encourage everyone to use your social media accounts to post comments and suggestions about how to invest in the right franchise webinar by using the hashtag #BeTheBoss. And let's practice and observe respectful comments and refrain from using offensive language in the chat box. Thank you very much. And later, before we end, we would like to encourage everyone to participate in our short survey to know which brands you would like to get in touch with. Moreover, we would like to inform our participants that by joining in the poll later, you agree to share your email, name, and contact number to our presenters. This will help them contact you on their franchise packages. And also, please follow us on our social media accounts at Philippine Franchise Association and PFA website at www.franchisefinderph.com. Back to you, Kat.
Thank you, Jen. This afternoon, we are fortunate to have with us the President of Philippine Franchise Association, Ms. Cheryl Quintana, to give her welcome remarks and session overview. We also have with us Ms. Rhea Flores, a resource speaker, who is currently the Strategic Planning Consultant of Francorp Philippines, to share her expertise and advice on wise franchise investment and how to detect and avoid franchise scams.
Yes, Kat, and later we will hear from our PFA members, which are Diana Stalder by Dermaline, The Generics Pharmacy, Nails.Glow, U Franchise and Sales Management featuring Barefruit, Citruzone, H2O Life Source, Medline, Pure Nectar, and the Lemon Company, and learn more about how they move forward and embrace the changes brought by the pandemic.
And of course, we also have This afternoon, a special presentation from Inlife Insular Healthcare and International Workplace Group.
So let's get this started. To formally welcome everyone on today's webinar and to give a session overview, we are pleased to introduce this afternoon, our guest speaker. She is a multi-awarded entrepreneur and a business leader. She is founding president of Arispa Solutions Inc. Uh, the Arispa is the number one maker of the 100% natural rice brand-based wellness and beauty products in the Philippines, which is the ASEAN Business Awardee for Healthcare. She is currently the president of the Philippine Franchise Association, where she also sits as director for MSME and homegrown franchises. A well-awarded entrepreneur, she is first ever Filipina awarded in the 32nd Asia Pacific Women Entrepreneur by the Confederation of Asia Pacific Chambers of Commerce and Industry in Istanbul, Turkey, and named one of the FWN's most influential Filipina in the world in 2018. Let us now welcome the founder and CEO of Arispa Solutions Inc. and the president of the PFA, an inspiration and a true example of tenacity, Ms. Cheryl Quintana. Good afternoon, Ma'am Cheryl.
Yes, thank you, Kat, and thank you, Jen. Good afternoon to all our presenters, our participants, and of course to our Facebook live viewers this afternoon. Please allow me to express my heartfelt appreciation to all our attendees for taking the time to participate in PFA's How to Invest in the Right Franchise webinar this afternoon. I hope that this webinar will help you fulfill the dream to be your own boss. We would like to see more and more Filipinos become business owners and becoming their own bosses. And we are promoting franchising as a pathway to this dream because of the many advantages of the franchising model. While it is true that franchising also has its challenges, its advantages outweigh far its challenges. Why? Because you are not alone when you are into franchising. Because your franchisor should always be there to help you. It is bayanihan exemplified. That is why franchising has a higher success rate compared with starting a business on your own. Please note, however, that you need to understand what franchising truly is so that it can work for you. Let us also be aware of the fly-by-night operations that pretend to be franchises, but are only after your money. There are also half-baked franchises which may be sincere in their franchise offerings, but do not have a well-designed support system, which are very important in franchising. That is the main reason we are holding this webinar so that we can educate the public on wise franchise investments. On this note, I encourage you to ask questions and use this webinar as an opportunity to all of you to learn all about franchising and its opportunities and challenges. But most importantly, I hope that this webinar will be a means for you to realize your dreams and aspirations, not just for yourself, but also for our nation. Especially now that we need everyone's support to bring back our economy back on its feet. Salamat at mabuhay tayong lahat. Now, let us proceed to the webinar overview. I think that's also part of my task this afternoon. Why are we doing this? First is to educate the public on wise franchise investment and to encourage entrepreneurship through franchising. This is organized and brought to you by the Philippine Franchise Association. Okay, let's see what franchising is all about. Franchising simply is defined as the power of growing from one to many by duplicating a successful business, as you can see from the graph. The Philippine Franchise Association was founded in 1995 and it is the pioneer franchise association in the country. Members include the biggest franchises, both local and foreign. Before PFA came to picture, franchising was not known to, the public did not know much about franchising. Now that the PFA was founded in 1995 and through the efforts year after year, 69% of our membership are MSMEs, micro, small, and medium enterprises. It is a voluntary, self-regulating governing body and the only internationally recognized franchise association in the Philippines. It is known as the voice of the franchising, the Philippine franchise sector. Okay, how do you become a PFA member? So all the PFA member brands has to have a good reputation and standing. It has to go through a series of screening, and these are the criteria for membership acceptance. At least 3 company-owned outlets, 3 franchise outlets, and has been into franchising for at least 3 years, and must abide with the Philippine Franchise Association's fair franchising standards. Okay, we'll discuss what franchising standards is. It is a policy setting document adopted by the members of the PFA that covers the conduct of sales of franchise by its members. So why do we do this? Why do we have to have the fair franchising standards? So for us to be able to establish a uniform standards of conduct to govern franchise relationships. So all of the members of PFA has to have or to abide with a uniform standard of conduct to govern their relationships with their franchisees. So it is also aimed to develop a set of principles to govern the business and legal relationships of legitimate franchisors and franchisees. So you'll know this afternoon, also it will be discussed in depth later by our speaker, how do we have a smooth or harmonious relationship between franchisor and franchisee? So the fair franchising standards also sets to develop this. Of course, to promote self-regulation of the franchising sector. So as I've said earlier, before PFA, there was only foreign and large enterprises. When you talk about franchising, ang makikita lang natin, malalaking mga companies ang nasa franchising. And also, there was just one growth of 1 franchise per year before 1995. There is a lack of public awareness about franchising. And through the efforts of PFA, when it was established, many years later, now we found out the franchising was introduced to MSMEs. I, for one, my company has been a testimonial to this as we're able to reach our tipping point when we entered into franchising. There's also an average growth now of 62 franchises per year and has become the preferred investment option of the Filipino people. Okay, so here are my tips for you this afternoon. So I encourage you to ask questions. And when you ask about the brand presenters later, I'm sure they will be discussing this, but it's, of course, prudent for you to know what are the key questions to ask. So you have to ask, what is the franchisor's support program? So meaning, after you've entered into the relationship, you've signed the contract, after which, what will be the support program of the franchisor after the sales or the deal has been conducted between the two of you? What is the investments, return of investments or ROI? Kailan babalik ang pera na ininvest ninyo as a franchisee? You have to ask also the right location for the brand as well as the target market of the brand, because it's not across all brands. No, there's no one rule that is applicable for all brands. Each has its own right mix, no, the right location, and as well as what is its target market. So you have to ask this. Also, of course, since we are faced with the pandemic, this has become also like a blessing in disguise, sort of, because now we know who are the brands still alive and kicking, surviving, and even thriving during the pandemic. You have to ask them what has been their business adjustments during these challenging times so that they will be able to adapt to the new normal. No? So hindi pwede yung dating ways pa rin ang kanilang ginagawa. Okay, so here are the key questions that you have to ask. So this afternoon, the program flow is the following. So okay, after the how to invest in the right franchise, there will be the presentation of the brands that we have curated for this afternoon for you. And you can hear them out and ask questions. And also, if you're interested, the Jen and Kat already told you how you can get in touch later. And there will also be a discussion on the wellness for a lifetime by Insular Healthcare, one of our partners. And of course, there will be discussions on flexible working, the next franchise frontier by the International Workplace Group. And then question and answer or Q&A will follow. Again, thank you so much. And please get in touch with our secretariat if you have further inquiries. Thank you at mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Cheryl, for welcoming our participants and for bolstering their confidence.
Thank you again, Ma'am Cheryl. We are pleased to introduce our resource speaker. She is a trained Six Sigma Green Belt and an experienced management system consultant with clients in food, electronics, banking, and service industries. She is also an ISO professional and an IRCA, which stands for International Register of Certified Auditors Trained, lead auditor for quality. She is currently leading the franchise development projects in the food, retail, and service sectors and is a candidate for graduation for the Certified Franchise Executive Program of the ASEAN Institute of Certified Franchise Executive. Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to introduce the Strategic Planning Consultant of Francorp Philippines, Ms. Rhea Flores.
Hi, Ms. Jen. Thank you for that introduction. Good afternoon to all our participants for today. So, I will be talking about investing in the right franchise. So, coming into this webinar, yung mindset ko would be to give all the information that I could about franchising so that you will have all the knowledge that you need to decide whether or not you want to get a franchise because it has been PFA's thrust to inform the public about franchising. Nabanggit nga kanina ni Michelle, no? So that we are empowered to make better decisions para avoid natin yung mga scams. Because the last thing that we want for all of you is for you to lose your hard-earned money on fraudulent entities. Okay, so on the next slide, uh, ayan. Sabi ng ating next slide, if you don't build your dream, someone else will hire you to build theirs. That's why mentioned ni Miss Cheryl kanina that we encourage everyone to be business owners, to be your own boss so that you will be building your own dreams and you won't be hired to build someone else's dreams. Okay. So on the next slide, this has already been mentioned by Ms. Cheryl. She said a while ago that franchising is better for those who want to get into business. It's better than putting up your own restaurant or getting your own grab car or putting up your sari-sari store because of the reason na nasa next slide. Because franchising has a higher chances of success. Because franchise businesses um, have higher chances of success over time compared to when starting up a traditional business from scratch. I will explain later bakit siya mas mataas yung success rate. I will discuss this as we move along. So in the next slide, we will see our agenda for this afternoon. So I will be discussing to you yung definition of franchising. Although Miss Cheryl already gave us a very simple definition of franchising, I will give you yung technical naman para uh, for our calibration or our common understanding. I will also talk about the things that you will be providing when you get into a franchise. And ano rin naman yung makukuha nyo in return, such as the franchisee support that you should get from your franchisor. So I will be talking about that. And as well as the challenges that are involved in franchising, because franchising is definitely not all rainbows and butterflies. It has its own set of challenges. But as Miss Cheryl mentioned, the advantages far outweigh the challenges. We will also talk about the steps to undertake when you finally decide that you want to get into franchising. Because maybe as you listen to me, you will find out that franchising is not really for everyone. So, part of this activity for this afternoon is for you to measure yourself and understand if franchising is something that you want to explore. Okay, so we will also talk about the science of franchising. And finally, I will give you some tips on how to be successful in franchising. Okay, so if we see the next slide, we will see a very technical definition of franchising. So there's a lot of words out there, but we have already outlined or highlighted the ones that are important. So basically, ang sinasabi niyang slide na yan is the franchisor gives the franchisee the right to use his name and his system for a fee. So that statement summarizes yung franchising. Franchising is where the franchisor gives the franchisee the right to use his name and his system for a fee. So yan po yung sinasabi ni Miss Cheryl kanina na when you franchise, you are not alone. You are in this together with your franchisor. Okay? So, let's just clarify what we mean by system. Okay? Ano ba yung system na ipapagamit sa'yo ng franchisor when you get into a franchising? System, this includes the products, the services offered by the business, the processes and procedures, the marketing know-how. This basically covers how the business is conducted. So that's what we mean by system. Kung paano kinokonduct yung business, paano pinapatakbo yung business. So when you franchise, kumbaga ipapahiram sa'yo ng franchisor yung kanyang system kung paano niya ino-operate yung business. So that means hindi mo na kailangang mag-imbento ng mga procedures, hindi mo na kailangan mag-start from scratch. It has been defined for you. So yung ibig sabihin naman ng name, ito yung brand name or trade name. This includes the logo, the signages, and all the other associated marks related to the business. So yung logo, hindi mo na kailangan pag-isipan, hindi mo na kailangan gumawa when you franchise because again, the franchisor already has that and is ready to be loaned to you or available for you to use upon payment of fee. So that is franchising again. The franchisor gives the franchisee the right to use his name and his system for a fee. Okay, so moving on, the franchise business model, obviously, meron tayong dalawang personalities in the franchising business model. So we have the franchisor and the franchisee. So yung franchisee, kaya po yan naka-star-star, yan po kayo. Okay, so naka-highlight po kung sino tayo dun sa relationship. Because the franchisor, sila po yung owner ng brand, sila po yung nag-develop ng system. Okay? So kayo naman po, bilang franchisee, you are assuming you are willing to operate the business and invest in the franchise business by providing the capital, the manpower, and the time. So you will be actively investing, no? And on this premise alone, you'll know if you are right for franchising because willing ka ba to invest your time? Willing ka ba to invest capital? And willing ka ba to invest manpower into such business? So if you're not willing to invest any of those, so medyo pag-isipan mo na if franchising is still for you because franchising will require you to actively invest capital, manpower, and time. Okay, so I hope that clarifies things about franchising. In the PFA, we believe that franchising is a very powerful tool for economic development, especially during these times na medyo ang ekonomiya ng Pilipinas ay medyo nahihirapan. So franchising is good for the country because it helps in economic development by creating thousands of enterprises who generate millions of jobs. So magandang franchising para sa bayan because it generates enterprises that generates millions of jobs. But for you, the more relevant advantage of franchising is that you are able to use the name and the use of the system, as we can see on the next slide. Okay, so yun naman ang advantage para sa inyo ng franchising. You get to use the name and you get to use the system. So you don't need to think of a catchy brand name and you don't need to worry about others copying your brand name because the franchisor owns the name. Diba yung pag nagsisimula ka ng business, isa sa mga pinaka mahirap na pag-isipan kung anong pangalan ng negosyo mo, 'di ba? Kung anong brand name. So, pag nag-franchise ka, hindi mo na kailangan pagdaanan yung ganong hirap na mag-come up with something witty, something relevant, something catchy because the franchisor has already done that for you. Okay? And as a franchisee, you can also use your franchisor systems. What does that mean for you? Although I already mentioned that, let's dig deeper into yung system. So that means that you have access to the franchisor's proprietary operations manual. So hindi mo na kailangan magsulat ng napakadetalyadong work instruction, ng work manual, because ipapahiram na yan sa iyo ng franchisor mo. Hindi mo na kailangang mag-start from scratch. You will operate your franchise store the same way that your company-owned stores or that company-owned stores are being run. So yung standards na ginagamit mo dun sa pag-operate ng franchise store mo is the same standard na ginagamit ng franchisor sa kanyang company-owned. So imagine gaano kataas yung standard na yun. So if that standard is mataas, that's for sure na yung operations mo would be much better kesa kung ikaw yung nag-come up ng sarili mong standard na hindi mo alam kung okay ba yon or is that at par with the industry standards. Okay, as a franchisee, you also have access to the brand standards in terms of store design, merchandising, yung supply chain, hanggang sa marketing campaigns. So, all you need to do is to use whatever is what the franchisor has. Yung kanyang mga marketing campaigns, yung kanyang mga social media collaterals, even access to the supply chain ng franchisor. Because in a business, mahirap humanap ng sarili mong supplier, di ba? If you are operating a single store, most likely hindi ka makaka-avail ng volume discounts because hindi mo mamimit yung requirement ng supplier. So mahirap for you to ensure yung cost of goods mo is mababa. When you franchise, you have access to the franchisor supply chain, therefore ensuring that you can avail of yung volume discounts because yung buong franchise system, sabihin natin isang daang tindahan yan. So na-achieve nung franchise system yung volume requirement ng supplier. So si supplier, kaya niyang magbigay ng volume discounts. Okay? And also as a franchisee, you'll have access to new products and new services should the brand launch any. So there are times that the customers will get bored of the offerings of the concept, di ba? So kung halimbawang French fries brand ka, kung French fries lang ng French fries yung ino-offer mo, maaaring magsawa ang customers. That's why papansin nyo yung mga French fries concepts, they always come up with new flavors or maybe new forms of potatoes na i-offer sa market to keep the industry excited. So yung pag-come up sa new products and new ways to offer the services, the franchisor undergoes that responsibility and shares that with the franchisees so that you as franchisee You don't need to rack your brains to come up with new products or new services that you will offer your customers. So yun yung advantage natin when we franchise or when we get a franchise. So ano naman yung kailangan nating i-bring to the table para take advantage yung use of name and use of system. So nabanggit ko na po kanina, no? You have to be willing to invest your time, your money, and your manpower. Okay, so let me go through those three things one by one. Let's start with the money component. So in franchising, you pay a one-time franchise fee, which is payable upon the signing of the franchise agreement. So I repeat, yung franchise fee is a one-time fee. Hindi siya paulit-ulit na binabayaran. Yung paulit-ulit na binabayaran or yung periodically po nating binabayaran are the royalties. Yung royalties usually monthly, it could be weekly, depending on the standards si franchisor. But yung franchise fee is usually part of the investment na kino-quote ni franchisor. Hindi siya yung total investment, meaning hindi siya yung cost ng pagpapatayo ng tindahan. For example, the franchisor will quote 150,000 franchise fee. So that fee is just the fee for you to be able to use the name and the system. Hindi pa po kasama doon yung construction ng cart, yung initial inventory, yung training na i-undergo nyo, kasama na pala yun sa franchise fee. So, the franchise fee, hindi niya kasama yung cost ng construction ng tindahan. That's why later you will hear that yung total investment is, let's say for example, 500, inclusive of the franchise fee, which could be around 150 pesos. So I'm just citing an example that hindi siya yung, it's not always 150, kumbaga. But what I'm saying is, yung franchise fee is usually part of the total investment. The franchise fee is not the entire investment. Okay, so I hope that clarifies things. You will also put up the capital to construct the store. So I was mentioning yung investment, no? So balikan natin yung example na 500,000. So let's say for a cart concept, they quote 500,000 yung investment. So dun sa 500,000, nandun na usually yung cart construction, initial inventory, the uniforms, the initial marketing paraphernalia. So you have to clarify that with your franchisor. Ano yung inclusion ng investment na kinote? Kasama ba doon yung construction? Kasama ba doon initial investment? Kasama ba doon yung marketing? Kasama ba doon yung uniform? So you have to clarify that. And the franchisor should be willing to clarify that in the spirit of transparency. Okay? So yung royalties and advertising fees, these are again periodic fees, meaning every period binabayaran. Every month, it could be every week, it could be every 2 weeks. But the point is, it is periodic. It is usually a percentage of your sales, but sometimes it could be a fixed amount. Again, it depends on yung agreement with the franchisor. So you should read your contract kung ano bang sinasabi, whether it's fixed or it's a percentage of your sales. Okay? So yung royalty, we pay that for the continuous use of the name. And more importantly, we pay royalties for the support provided by the franchisor, which I will cover later dun sa ating next slide. Okay, so advertising, we contribute to the, can we move? Yan, thank you. So yung advertising fee, we pay that so that the franchisor will pull that fund para mas malaki yung pondo niya to invest in growing the brand. So this could be getting endorsers, celebrity endorsers. This could be used to invest in billboard along national highways. This could be used for social media campaigns. So the point is, everyone in the franchise system and the company-owned system contributes to the advertising fee para mas malaki yung pondo na gamitin para pasikatin yung brand. Because if the brand is sikat, syempre, di ba, yung sales ng ating mga tindahan would be tataas din kasi mataas yung demand for the brand. Okay, as part of the system, you need to use and only sell items that are unique to the franchise. And these are purchased from the franchisor. So, especially for the food concepts, di ba? Very unique yung taste, very unique yung sauces na ginagamit, very unique, for example, yung patty, if it's a burger concept. So those proprietary things, meaning unique to the system, are available with a franchise store. You cannot purchase that anywhere else because if you purchase it from somewhere else, then the quality will be different, then the customer experience will be different, then the brand will be tarnished. Diba? So, lastly, for money, when you get a franchise, your ROI is more assured when risks are managed because you are operating a business under a trade name that has a higher brand equity and you are using procedures and systems that are proven to work. Kaya sinasabi na managed yung risks natin. So that's for the time element. Talking about the time element, as franchisee, you are expected to operate the franchise business actively. So hindi po yan parang pagbili ng stocks na you can passively wait for it to grow. Ang franchising, when you get a franchise, it's a business that needs to be managed responsibly, diba? But you don't need to be there in the store the whole time that it is open. As long as you know what is happening in your business, alam mo kung magkano yung benta mo araw-araw, alam mo yung cost of goods mo, you know your expenses, you know if your staff are providing good customer service, if your processes are COVID proof, so okay yon because that's a sign of being a responsible business owner. Okay? Because as a business, kailangan pa rin na binabantayan to at alam natin kung ano yung nangyayari. And you need to think long term because franchise agreements usually run for a minimum of 3 years. So hindi pwede yung today nagising ka, gusto mo mag-franchise, bukas ayaw mo na. Hindi pwede yung mga ganyan, yung papalit-palit ng isip. Franchising will require commitment on your end. Okay? And yung last component natin is the people component. So just like a typical business, you need to hire your own people to run the store. Okay? So syempre, since negosyo mo yan, kailangan mag-hire ka ng tao. Kailangan willing kang mag-hire. And you also rely on your skills and capabilities to run the business responsibly and follow the standards set by the franchisor. Okay, so again, what you bring to the table are money, time, and people. So if you're not willing to invest those three in a franchise, then maybe franchising is not something for you. But if you think that you are willing to invest those three and still want to franchise, you want to know ano ba yung mga support na makukuha mo when you franchise your business. So, yung support, which we can see on the next slide, this provides franchise brands na higher success rates, yung binabanggit ni Miss Cheryl kanina. Kaya mas mataas ang chances of success ng isang franchise business versus a start from scratch business is because of the support that you will get from your franchisor, sorry. As a franchisee, you will get two forms of support. The first form of support is the pre-opening support, and then the next one, which will be covered in the next slide, is the ongoing support. So let's go through yung pre-opening support. These are typically your site support, yung site evaluation, meaning the franchisor will have the criteria para gamitin mo in looking for a location, and they will approve yung location na inonominate mo, whether it fits yung concept. Because as mentioned by Ms. Cheryl kanina, there is no fixed criteria or site criteria that works for all brands. So, iba-iba yan. May kanya-kanyang nuances yung site criteria per brand. So, the franchisor knows that and they will provide you with the criteria as well as the evaluation of the site that you will nominate. Some franchisors, they also have yung locator services or they will be the ones looking for the site for you. But this is not very common and you might want to ask your franchisor if they have that. Franchise brokers also offer that kind of service. So you might also want to explore that if wala kang nominated site. Okay? So yung turnkey, when you hear the word turnkey, ibig sabihin ito turn yung key, aandar na yung negosyo. Kasi with the turnkey package, the franchisor provides the construction of the store, they provide you with a cart if it's a cart concept or if it's an inline concept, they construct the store for you, they furnish it with the right equipment, with the right furniture, so that all you need to do is pay yung turnkey package and then the franchisor will construct it and then ready na siya to operate. As pre-opening support, kasama din doon yung training and setup support. So, syempre, bilang bago sa brand, kailangan tuturuan ka. Tsaka yung staff mo, di ba? So, that's part of the support. And they will also be typically available during the grand opening. They will go to your store, support you during the grand opening. And most of the time, they are even there to support you during the soft opening and the pre-opening to make sure that everything is in order bago ka finally i-launch during the grand opening. Okay? So, yung marketing kasama dyan yung letting you know ano yung mga pwede mong gamitin na marketing campaign so that during the grand opening, 'di ba, maraming tao na nando sa tindahan mo. So part din yan ng iyong support, pre-opening support that you should expect from your franchisors. Okay? So yung next slide naman, we'll see yung mga typical ongoing support that you should expect from your franchisor. So yung mga visits, this is typically quarterly na pumupunta yung franchisor or representative ng franchisor just to check if you are doing okay, anong assistance ang kailangan mo because uh, they understand that you are new to the business. So you will need all the ongoing support that you will need. So kung hindi man possible yung physical visit, they should also be available for online consultations or phone calls or emails or virtual meetings or group chats even. Because the point is they should be available to you when you need their support or when you need yung advice nila on some things in relation to operating the store. R&D or research and development, when franchisor launches new products and services or improvements to existing processes, i-share din nila yan sa'yo. Kasi na-mention ko nga kanina, di ba, yung customers would get sawa dun sa mga ino-offer. So every now and then, the franchisor would come up with new products, new services. That's why pansinin nyo si Jollibee, di ba? Every so often, naglo-launch siya ng something new to make to shake things up a bit, 'di ba? To keep things exciting. When you are part of a franchise, you benefit from that something new na nilo-launch ng brand parati. Okay? And marketing. Okay? So making sure that the brand is famous. I mentioned already this. Because if the brand is famous, there is demand for the product. And if there's demand for the product, that is always good for the stores. Franchisors will also help you in terms of local store marketing. Yung local store marketing, ibig sabihin yan, yung ima-market mo, yung tindahan mo, dun sa immediate vicinity. Because on top of yung national campaigns, yung national advertising, papalakasin pa natin yung brand recall, yung brand equity through the help of your local store marketing. Para ma-ensure natin na may traffic, may foot traffic dun sa tindahan natin. Or kung hindi man foot traffic, if it's delivery, para may delivery tayo or may online sales. So whatever the case may be. But the point is, we want to ensure that yung brand natin is known in our immediate vicinity and, of course, in a wider environment. So that's our ongoing support. So yan yung mga typical na ini-expect nyo dapat from your franchisor na pre-opening and ongoing support. So I mentioned that there are challenges in franchising. So yung unang challenge dyan is franchising. One challenge in franchising is that you always have to follow company standards and systems. To the creative ones who like to experiment or to develop yung things or think out of the box, this condition to franchising will definitely pose a challenge. So yung mga malilikot ang isip, di ba? Wala namang masama sa pagiging malikot ang isip, yung challenging ng rules. It's just that it's not something that is beneficial when you get into a franchise because in franchising, the franchisor defines the standards. So if you are somebody who likes to think outside the box, to develop new things, to experiment, then maybe you are better off as a franchisor. For some kasi, uh, they like following rules, they like having standards na susundin, uh, that's okay. So that's franchising is a good choice for them. Okay. So another challenge in franchising is yung territorial restrictions. So these territorial restrictions have basis. So wag po kayong kabahan. May basis naman po yan. And they are put in place so that more people can benefit from owning a franchise brand. Also, I hope that there aren't any false expectations here that when you get a franchise, you will have instant success. So hindi po 'yan parang loto na bukas mayaman ka na, 'di ba? So hindi po gano'n ang pagpa-franchise. Because obviously, franchising is still a business that needs to be run responsibly for it to be successful. Ang kaibahan lang when you get a franchise, you have less risk to contend with, and you have higher chances of success. That's why it's a better option compared to starting a business from scratch. Okay, so if you still feel that franchising is for you despite hearing about these challenges, then we can move on to our next slide. Yan, and do a quick assessment. Diba? How much are you willing to invest in a franchise? You have to be realistic and you have to be honest with yourself. Magkano ba yung puhunan na kaya mong ipundar or kaya mong i-shell out for a franchise? You need to also take stock of your skills and your passion because since you will be operating this business, you might as well pick something that you will enjoy doing, di ba? Ask yourself, can I find locations? Do you have candidate locations? And do you have time to manage yung business? You have to be honest with yourself and ask yourself those questions. Next, so kung nasagot mo na yung ating quick assessment, then the next question for you is, where do you start? Okay, so where do you start? So one option is browsing business magazines like entrepreneur.com. So most very often they feature businesses that are open for franchising. So you may want to explore those um, magazines. Or when times allow, you can visit franchise shows and expos such as Franchise Asia. Although for this year, yung Franchise Asia Expo will still be virtual. So even if it's virtual, I still recommend that you check it out, diba? Because there will definitely be a lot of options for you there. There are also franchise brokers out there who can discuss multiple concepts to you depending on your preference. Of course, franchise associations such as the PFA is also a good source of information. If I may request yung ating operator, yung nag-ooperate ng ating slides to uh, go to the next slide and let the video run. Yung next slide po. Ready ba yung video or is it not? I think they are setting up yung ating video. Yung video natin is about, I just wanted to show you how the franchise finder website works. Ayan. Thank you for setting that up. So if you can please click yung video so that it can start. Ayun. So that one is using the mobile phone. You can access franchisefinderph.com. So you can choose kung anong klaseng franchise ang gusto mo, whether you are leaning towards a food franchise or a retail franchise or a service franchise. It will also filter choices based on your investment capacity. So once you click yung ating search, lalabas yung options na pasok dun sa preferences mo. And then, when you find a brand that is to your liking, so for example, it's Mo, you click the brand and then lalabas yung franchise details. And if you want to connect with the people from Mo, such as this one, you click yung ating inquire button. So that's how simple yung Franchise Finder PH website works. You can access it through your phones or your laptops. It will make yung ating franchise window shopping easier. So thank you. Let's go back to yung previous slide. Okay. So, okay na pala tayo dyan. So, let's move on to the next. Ayan. So, saan ba yung ating next? So, yung, when meron ka nang napiling brand, meron ka ng specific brand, you should take time to know the brands na napili mo. I think it's in the next, previous slide, sorry. Yan, thank you. Ayan. So kung meron ka ng na-narrow down mo na yung options mo, so the next thing for you is to know the brands that you are leaning towards. So kilalanin mo yung mga brands na napupusuan mo and maybe weigh kung sino yung mas in demand. Kasi if it's more in demand, most likely mas mabilis mong mababawi yung investment mo because mas mabilis yung mas maganda yung benta. But you need to ask your franchisor that later, okay? So you also want to check out the franchisors who are behind the brand. Because in franchising, di ba, you will sign an agreement. So it's obviously a relationship. And you want to get into a business relationship with somebody who maybe shares the same values as you, who has the same advocacies as you, and you want somebody who has experience, di ba? Ayaw naman natin yung walang experience kasi yun yung that's what we're banking on when we get a franchise, di ba? The franchisor's experience. Because definitely you will have some challenges while operating the business. And kung walang experience yung franchisor, sinong tatanungin mo, di ba? So the franchisor has to have sufficient experience. You can maybe check out yung LinkedIn or Facebook account nung brand or nung franchise company behind the brand para makita kung if they are up to your standards. So the next question, although this one is already mentioned by Ms. Cheryl, are the typical questions that you should be asking your franchisor. So let's say kasi na meron ka ng specific brand na nagustuhan. So nag-submit ka na ng application form, na-submit mo na yung mga initial requirements na hinihingi nila. So the next thing for the franchisor to do is most likely set up a face-to-face meeting. It could be a physical meeting, it could be an online, or it could be a virtual meeting. But the point is, magkakausap kayo face-to-face. So when you get that opportunity, that's the time that you should ask those questions na binanggit kanina ni Ms. Cheryl, as well as the questions that are flashed in our screen. Okay? So, yun pala, no, yung isang point that you may want to consider. A good franchisor will take time to review your qualifications because they also want to make sure that you are a right fit for the system. So, hindi sila nagmamadali na tanggapin lang ng tanggapin lahat na nag-apply. Kasi, when they franchise, the franchisor is also looking for somebody na makakasundo nila. So, yung good franchisor will take time to evaluate. Kasi yung mga franchisors na ang habol lang, yung pera nyo, walang balak na mag-provide ng support later on, they will not care if you don't meet their criteria for potential franchisees. They will just take your money and provide you with a card, for example, and then you're left on your own to operate the business without knowing kung saan ka kukuha ng iyong next stocks or kung paano ba, anong klaseng marketing ang mag-work. So, stuff like that. So, a good franchisor will take time to evaluate your application to check if you are also a good fit for the system. So, once you pass the pre-qualification process, a reputable franchisor will ask to meet with you so that they can discuss the business further. So, they do these business meetings because they want to make sure na alam mo kung ano yung pinapasok mo, that you know that what you're getting into. So, transparency. Papaliwanag nila sa'yo kung ah, ano yung financials or ano yung forma ng financials ng negosyo so that you can make an educated decision later on. So you should be ready when you get the opportunity to meet them, you should be ready with your questions. And these are sample questions that you can ask them, such as yung ROI, the support, sino yung typical customer, and if they are a member of the PFA. So you should also ask them if they could give you a list of the franchisees para makausap nyo or ma-interview nyo yung mga franchisees. Because a good franchisor will be open enough to you and let you verify what they said sa ibang franchisees. So confident sila na maganda yung sasabihin ng franchisees. Kaya confident din silang magbigay ng listahan ng franchisees na pwede mong interviewin. Okay, so I added their PFA membership because as mentioned by Ms. Cheryl a while ago that the PFA has a very strict criteria in accepting members sa association. So nakita nyo kanina yung 333. So kailangan bago maging member ng PFA, kailangan sa dalawa dun sa 3 criteria na meet. Yung tatlong criteria is merong tatlong company-owned stores na ino-operate, or merong tatlong franchise units na ino-operate, or tatlong taon na silang nagpa-franchise. So obviously yung experience is there. So isang magandang tip din for you is to check if they are members of the PFA, because if they are, maganda ang reputation ng franchise brand na yan. Okay, so yung next, are we ready to jump in? So few questions that you can ask your current franchisees. So kung mabigyan ka ng chance na maka-interview ng franchisees, you can also ask them how long they have been operating, how many stores do they operate, and what kind of training and support did they receive from the franchisor. So it's basically verifying what the franchisor said to you. Okay, and you can also get a feel of your relationship with franchisee with the franchisor, because most likely that's the kind of experience or that's the kind of relationship that you will experience as well. Okay, so yung next, due diligence pa rin. So bago bumili ng franchise, kailangan ng matinding due diligence, because franchising will require you to shell out not just 100 pesos, but hundreds of thousands of pesos, maybe millions pa. So if you're going to let go of your money, you have to make sure that you have done your due diligence. And part of the due diligence is during the franchise studying financial projections. So you need to understand paano yung magiging galaw ng pera na i-invest mo. So during the business meeting, the franchisor will discuss the financial projections for the business with the intention of transparency and setting expectations. So para hindi ka rin umaasa na, oh, next year mababawi ko na. Sobrang bilis naman ng next year, di ba? Kung ang in-invest mo ay 3 million, medyo mabilis yun. So, yung business meeting is for transparency and setting expectations. I strongly recommend that you get basic understanding of accounting. so that you will be able to follow the discussion on projected cash flow, on profitability, on break even, and on return on investment. And also, as an aspiring business owner, it is only right that you know at least the basic accounting and finance because that is the language of business. So, hindi mo mamamanage ang isang bagay na hindi mo naiintindihan yung lingwahe. And in business, yung language of business is accounting and finance. So, you need to understand basic accounting and finance for you to be able to manage your business responsibly. Okay? So next, so after studying financial projections, the next thing for you is yung checking IPO registration. Because remember, the definition of franchising is that the franchisor allows the franchisee to use his name and system for a fee. So kailangan yung trade name, yung logo, yung um, yung design is owned by the franchisor. So, check nyo yan sa website ng www.wipo.int because that database will show you if the franchisor is indeed the owner of the trade name of the franchise concept. Kasi kung hindi niya pag-aari yung trade name, hindi niya pag-aari yung logo, wala siyang karapatang maningil ng royalty at franchise fee. Kasi 'di ba, yung franchise fee and royalties are collected for the use of name and system. So if the franchisor is not the owner of the name, he has no right to collect franchise fees and royalties. So you have to make sure that the franchisor is indeed the owner of the name. Okay. So you will also need to check if there have been any legal cases against the franchisor or the franchising corporation. It's okay kung merong kaso against the franchisor or the franchise corporation. What's important is kung ano yung naging decision or ano yung kinahantungan ng litigation. And also very important, review the franchise agreement. I cannot stress this uh, anymore. And I can't stress this anymore. So, kailangan i-review nyo yung franchise agreement ninyo. Ano yung mga obligations nyo and ng franchisor nyo sa inyo? Ano yung inyong territorial rights? Pwede ka ba mag-relocate? Kailangan ba ng renewal fee? Anong gagawin kapag gusto mo nang i-terminate? Pwede mo bang ibenta yung franchise mo? So those things and a lot more should be defined in your franchise agreement. And you should consult with your lawyer just to make sure that the franchise agreement is fair. Kagaya nga ng sabi sa slide sa susunod. Consult your lawyer. Because reputable franchisors would have very detailed franchise agreements that could be 70 pages long, 50 pages long. So it would take dedication talaga and time to review. So at least get a lawyer's opinion if the franchise agreement is fair for you. Kung hindi mo man siya mabasa, but I strongly recommend that you read and go through the franchise agreement yourself because you will be the one signing it anyways. Okay, so on to our next slide. Ito na yung exciting, yung signs of scam, of a franchise scam. So these are the things that you should watch out for to avoid getting into a franchise scam. So unang-una na dyan is yung profitability and earnings claims. If it is too good to be true, then it probably isn't. So kung sobrang bilis nung pangakong balik ng investment, sobrang taas ng return sa investment mo, malamang hindi yan totoo. And this is where your basic understanding of accounting and finance really pays off. So kung medyo nakakaintindi tayo ng finance, then maintindihan natin na high risk, high risk, dapat high return. So kung mababa yung risk na tinake mo, hindi pwedeng high returns, di ba? So basic understanding of accounting and finance, I really recommend it. And if during the business meeting, the so-called franchisor cannot or would not give you their list of franchisees, or they say they do not have a list of their outlets, then magtaka ka na. Be doubtful. A reputable franchisor will allow you to cross-check uh, with their franchisees, as mentioned a while ago. You should also be alarmed if, while doing your background check on the franchisor, you cannot find anything on them. Meaning, wala sila sa LinkedIn, wala sila sa social media, pag ginugel mo, wala kang mahanap. So, bakit sila nagtatago? Bakit walang information, public information about them? So, medyo iffy na yun. Magtaka ka na. Or if you do, the profile is vague. Kung may nakita ka namang something about them online, pero vague, walang list of officers, that's also not a good sign. Because absence of a clear company profile and list of officers, ibig sabihin nun, there is no one taking responsibility and accountability for the brand. So imagine if there's nobody who's willing to take responsibility and accountability. So, kanino ka magtatanong, di ba? Kanino ka hihingi ng support? So, mahirap yan. Also, if the one selling the franchise is doing pressure tactics, then that is also a sign of a scam. So, halimbawa, sasabihin nila sa'yo na kailangan permahan mo na today, kailangan bayaran mo na yung franchise agreement natin. Kasi hanggang today lang yung discount natin, yung 50 off sa franchise fee. So, magtaka ka na kapag ganun, kung pinipressure ka to sign right then and there. Because a responsible franchisor knows that a franchise is an investment that needs to be studied, and they know that that clearly takes time. So, hindi ka nila mamadaliin na bilhin yung franchise right then and there. Hindi ka nila mamadaliin pumirma right then and there. They would give you time to do your due diligence, consult your family or your partners to come up with a decision. So, in pressure tactics is a sign of uh, dapat bibigyan ka ng oras to solidify and crystallize your design or your decision to get a franchise. Okay, so we are approaching yung last parts of our sharing for this afternoon. So, how to be a successful franchisee? So, these are our tips to you, future franchisees. So, unang-una is to be a good follower. You paid to use the system that is proven to work, so use it. Binayaran mo na so gamitin mo. Create a business plan based on your location and the numbers that will be provided by your franchisor. So remember that franchising is a business that you will run, you are expected to run responsibly. So you need to come up with your own business plan based on what your franchisors will provide you as guide. Be a hands-on manager. This does not mean that you need to be in the store all the time, but you need to know what is happening in your store so that you can take the necessary actions and decisions about your business. Also, manage your finances. Kailangan pa bang i-memorize yan? Dapat hiwalay yung sarili or personal at saka pera ng negosyo. Market your store and its products and services because as a franchisee, you must also be a brand ambassador. And lastly, be willing to share your ideas to your franchisor because who knows, your idea might just be good enough to be used for the entire system. So ang isang good franchisor din has open communication lines ready to welcome yung mga suggestions ng franchisee nila. Okay, so that's it. In franchising, you can be your own boss. And the beauty of that is that you are in a business for yourself, but not by yourself. Because you have the franchisor's experience, system, and expertise to help you become your own boss. Ayun. So, that ends my presentation for this afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone. And if you have questions, you can use the Q&A button to enter your inquiries. Maraming salamat. I turn you back over to Kat.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rhea, for sharing an insightful and comprehensive presentation on the benefits of franchising and salient points in analyzing a good franchise business opportunity. Moving on to our franchise brand presentations, our first presenter represents Diana Stalder of Dermaline. a promise of a better you. Let us all welcome the AVP for Operations, Miss Diana Stalder.
Hi everyone! This pandemic situation has brought out the worst and the best in us. But why focus on the negative if we can all dwell on the positive, right? Don't let this crisis pull you down. Let's find ways to stay healthy and optimistic. I am Diana Stalder, the AVP for Operation of the Stalder Group of Companies, and I'm inviting and welcome you all to be part of Diana Stalder family to become more beautiful and be more productive this time of uncertainty. Next slide po. Yeah. Diana Stalder is proud of its safe, effective, and high-quality skincare line for almost 25 years now. Our very own Stalder Laboratory is incorporated, located at San Pablo City, Laguna, is a CGMP certified, halal certified, and FDA registered laboratory that manufactures all of our drug products. Next, please. We also have individual products and kits like for your different skincare needs like anti-acne, anti-aging, face whitening, body whitening, melasma kit, underarm whitening. We also have skin vitamins and moisturizers, personal care products like hand sanitizers, Dear Roll-On, feminine and masculine wash, sunscreen preparations, beauty soaps, and last but not the least, our drug products. Next, please. This is now your chance to grow and earn with Diana Stalder. Since owning a franchise nowadays is impractical and too risky, we have thought of a different strategy for your business. Instead of spending like 3 million pesos for a franchise, you can simply avail our products and sell them. The bigger the purchase, the bigger the discount. Next, please. Take a look at our special price scheme. For a purchase worth of 25,000 pesos, you'll get a 25% off. 50,000 pesos for the 30%, 75,000 pesos for the 35%, and 100,000 pesos for the 40% off. It's not, it's like less is more. Invest, invest less but earn more. A very wise move this time of difficulty, right? We will also be more happy to help you every step of the way to succeed in our business partnership. Please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. Here is our contact details. For our Facebook page, you may visit www.dianastalder.com or Diana Stalder by Dermaline. Let us not be controlled by this pandemic situation. So I challenge you to make a difference. Join us and experience the promise of a better you with Diana Stalder. Thank you very much and have a great day ahead.
Thank you very much, Miss Diana. Moving forward, our next presenter will be presenting various franchise business opportunities featuring Bear Fruit, Citruzone, H2O Life Source, Medline, Pure Nectar, and the Lemon Company. We are pleased to introduce the franchise consultant of Pure Franchise, Ms. Camille Malto.
Hi, Miss Jen. Thank you very much. And good day to everyone. Thank you, PFA, for having you franchise. And to all our webinar attendees, thank you for choosing to spend your time with us. I am Camille, one of the franchise consultant of You Franchise, and I will be presenting the top franchise brands that are on the upswing this time. But just to quickly introduce our company in the next slide, so You Franchise is the largest franchise matching platform in the Philippines. So ano nga nga po ba yung ginagawa namin? So basically, number one, tinutulungan po namin yung mga aspiring franchisees like you be matched with the right franchise brand to invest in. So alam po namin na lalo na po ngayon, medyo challenging and a bit frustrating po yung paghahanap ng franchise, kung ano nga ba talagang brand or concept yung i-consider natin. So in new franchise, we will give you a professional matching service for free. So also, we are a sister company of Francorp Philippines. It's a global franchise development consultancy firm that developed the franchise program of a well-known brand such as Jollibee, Maxis, The Generics Pharmacy, and many more. And we are also a member of Philippine Franchise Association. So you franchise have helped over 1,000 franchises na. So sa you franchise, hindi po kami nag-hard sell in one brand lang. Dahil meron po kaming over 200 brands that we can match you with. So the franchise consultation is for free. So the idea here is to really help you choose, and of course, you have someone po to follow, to help you with the process and follow up po ng inyong franchise application for free. And if super ready na po kayo, but the only thing that stops you is the location. If wala kayong location, no worries po because we have a premium service like location assistance. So in the next slide, we will proceed with the next brand with the brand. So first, we have here the healthy beverage concept. Alam niyo po, right now, people today are leaning towards a healthier lifestyle. So, as much as possible, we want something or everything na food intake natin is healthy for our body. So, we have Citruzone who continued operation during ECQ through online orders and deliveries. So, their regular franchise package is 290,000. But we have a good news po. If wala pa din po kayong location and you wanted to start at home, we have a limited home franchise for only 90,000. And another healthy beverage naman po is we have Barefoot Guyabano, which uses all fruit, all natural, no preservative flavor. So for only 395,000. And also, we have the Lemon Company. Be a health warrior by considering this brand. It's a very good brand from Cebu, which offers variety of flavors of lemonade. So, franchise package starts at 900,000. Also, we have, if you're looking for a bigger investment, you might consider Nefromed Asia. It's a dialysis center where the franchise package starts at 18 million. And of course, we also have a H2O Mineral Plus. It's an alkaline water refilling brand from Singapore with a very compact setup, starts at 7 square meters. So, hindi po siya katulad ng mga traditional water refilling station na malaki po yung space na kailangan natin. For H2O, most of our franchises is napakaliit lang po ng space natin, starts at 7 square meter, and our total package starts at 400,000. So, in the next slide, so I think this is just a very short presentation. So if you want to have a one-on-one consultation with us, what I presented lang po is just few of the many brands that we can match you with. So kindly drop your details at the chat box, or I'll be sending or I'll be chatting din po you wherein you can contact us. Thank you very much and have a good day, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ms. Camille. At this point, let us now proceed to listen to a special presentation from our valued partner. To tell us about their latest program, let us all welcome the Account Executive of Inlife Insular Healthcare, Mr. Sean Mangubos.
All right. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, before I start my presentation, I'd like to commend PFA for providing this kind of platform, especially in these times of pandemic. So, my presentation is going to be, will be a very short but sweet presentation for everyone. So, I'll start that by introducing myself. I am Sean Mangubos, and I am one of the accounts officer handling corporate sales and group accounts from Insular Healthcare. So next slide, please. Okay, so our business has been in this industry for over 30 years, and we are expert in providing employee HMO benefits to our corporate accounts. Especially in these times, it helps the retention of the employees in your company, and we are also committed uh, in providing our customers with timely, medically appropriate, affordable, and accessible medical care. And we are also governed by these two institutions. Number one is Insurance Commission, and next is the Association of Health Maintenance Organization of the Philippines, Inc., or the AMOFI, because we want to make sure that we are giving our full service to our customers. And at the same time, last year, despite of the pandemic, we were able to receive an award as the APEA's Inspirational Brand of the Year. So next slide, please. So yeah, I'm very much excited to share with you our newly designed product, especially for the micro and small enterprises. So if you have a minimum of 5 employees to 99 employees, well, this product is for you. So your employees will get to experience a comprehensive coverage for that. Well, that includes outpatient, inpatient, emergency care, dental care, and annual physical examination rather, and new modalities treatment. So aside from the hospitalization benefit, what else do we get to enjoy from this product? So next slide, please. Okay, so you will also get to experience our technological capabilities. So that includes corporate HR web portal. So you can use this for the for the addition and deletion of your members, and also for the generating some necessary documents such as data analytics report. And aside from that is the member mobile application, which is both available for iOS and Android users. So by using this mobile application, you can request for LOA or letter of authorization, request for callback, or if you have a reimbursement transaction with us, you can use our mobile application in just one click. And you also get to experience more features from there. And one of the highlights of our product is that you will also be receiving your HMO proposal within the day. Yes, you actually heard it right, within the day. So no need for initial listing. And lastly, your members or employees will get to experience a comprehensive coverage, and we can assure you that we'll give you a very competitive and affordable, reasonable premium rates for your company. So before I end this presentation, last year has been a very tough and challenging year for every one of us. So next slide, please. So the question is, how have we faced the new normal? So Insular Healthcare thought of some ways on how to cope up or face the new normal. So that includes number one, we heightened our presence in digital communities. So that includes social media engagement. So we provide free webinars for our clients, and that is free for everyone, open for everyone. Just visit our Facebook page for you to be updated. Next is we are continuously upgrading our technological capabilities because we believe that customer experience is our top priority. Next is we also provide constant health updates to our members. So I encourage every one of you to follow us in our social media platforms. So that could be, you can find us in Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, so that you will be updated with our update or health updates. And lastly, we have updated our or improved and added to our payment system for the ease and convenience of our members. So to wrap this up, we are looking forward, Insular Healthcare is actually looking forward that your employees or your members will get to enjoy the Insular Healthcare experience. So once again, I am Sean Mangubos, and good afternoon to everyone.
Thank you so much, Sir Sean. Moving forward to our next presenter, he is the Head of Partnership Growth and Network Development of International Workplace Group. Let us welcome Ms. Rowena Natividad of IWG. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Rowena Natividad from International Workplace Group. Um, so the name of the company is IWG. I'm not sure though if that has a name recall for some of you. Maybe you can just mention some of our brands. So we actually operate the likes of Ridges, Spaces, as well as HQ. First slide, please. Hello, first slide, please. Hello. Hi, first slide, please. All right, so sorry about that. Okay, so our company is actually the biggest flexible workspace operator in the world. We've been in the business for 32 years and we're actually listed in the London Stock Exchange. Now, here in the Philippines, we have been in the market for 22 years. So, as you can imagine, we actually have survived and I would say even thrived in a number of financial crises. We actually set up our first center at the Enterprise Center back in year 2000. So that was during the aftermath of the global financial crisis. Right. I think you flip on the first slide again. Can you flip on the next slide? Hello. There. All right. So as I was saying, we are actually a multi-brand, and we're actually the first business to actually offer a franchise opportunity for flexible workspace. So different branding provides for different market segmentation, and that's one of the value propositions that we have. So with different brands, we're actually able to position ourselves in different markets. We actually cater for different kind of customers, even those who are really price sensitive. So like for the center that we have in Davao, where we have an HQ center, so that actually caters for price sensitive customers. So those who pretty much still want to have that Regis feel in their office, but would like to have a lower pricing for their offices. Hence, a lower brand would suit them. All right. Next slide, please. So what we do, I did mention that we're flexible workspace. So as flexible workspace operator, we allow our customers to work whenever and wherever. So that's actually the flexibility quotient that we provide. Um, Core products are the ones listed on this slide. So I will just mention them one by one. First would be the offices. So these are actually the physical offices, the per workstation. Then we also have the virtual office, meaning you don't hold any physical office here, but instead you only have a virtual office. So meaning you can only use a registered address or correspondence address for your business. Then aside from that, we also have meeting rooms that we allow our customers to use on a per hour basis. And then the co-working. So co-working is pretty much similar to the shared economy concept. So the likes of Viber, where you get to share your transportation with others. Now for co-working in a flexible workspace, you actually get to share a room, an office with another company. So it's actually shared economy. And I think that's where we are geared right now. I mean, even before the pandemic, we're actually doing that. Okay, and then other products that we have is Business World. Business World is actually the membership that we have. Pretty much similar to gym memberships here. When you get a membership from us, you actually get to access our locations globally. 3,500 centers across the globe. You can work from anywhere else in the world for as long as you are a member of IWG. Now, just to mention, before pandemic, we actually have 2.5 million members. And, we've been in the market for 30 years at that time. So it took us like 30 years to get into that number. And during pandemic, we actually generated 1 million more additional member. So I will just mention a few. So these are the likes of NTT. So they're the biggest telecommunications company in Japan. They purchased 500,000 membership from us. So what does that mean? Each of their employees who holds that membership actually gets to access our locations globally by just presenting the Business World membership. We also signed a deal with Standard Chartered as well as Nestle. So that allows their employees to work in all of our locations wherever they want. And I think that's the trend now with this pandemic. That's one of the legacies of this COVID-19. As employers are now decentralizing their employees and are actually finding locations that are very near their home. And that pretty much fits into our business model because we allow employees to work anywhere for as long as we have a business center there. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so how does that work? So for our franchisees, so it's either they own the building or they rent a space from a landlord. Okay, so for the types of building that we have, usually we would occupy a number of floors, usually 1 to 2 floors within a big building. There are some markets wherein which we have the entire building for ourselves, or half of the building, or half of or the entire of a small building. So it depends really on the availability of the space and on the type of market that you are catering to. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so I kept mentioning about distributed or decentralized workforce. There's actually an official term for that, and we call that hybrid workforce. Hybrid meaning, as you may have seen, no, because during this pandemic, we all had the biggest experiment on working from home. So employees now are actually partly working from home, others are partly working in the office. So we call that the hybrid solution. You get to work anywhere. So you spend maybe 2 times a day in your home and then 3 times a day in the office. And what's unique for IWG is that during this pandemic, we never closed our center because we cater to some of our customers who provides for essential services. Hence, we never closed any of our centers. It remained open for the customer. They just need to use their access key, which are all automatic, and they can enter and access our centers. So comparing our business to the businesses of the gyms and other maybe hotels who, if they're not operating on a quarantine mode, they were most likely closed by this time. So during this pandemic, we continue to operate and we continue to thrive. We received inquiries for businesses who wanted to decentralize their employees and workforce. Hence, as mentioned by Rhea earlier, it would be good to understand also yung payback or investment metrics that the company that you're offering. Make sure that the business or products that you offer are actually in the market at the moment, or hot in the market. And I would say we are. The flexible workspace industry, not only for IWG, but for the rest of those flexible operators, are actually hot in the market for now. Okay, it's also cost efficient because for a typical lease, the typical landlord tenant relationship, they would usually get a space for long term. And when pandemic hit, it wouldn't be very easy for them to terminate the lease because they will have to pay for the penalty. So that's for feature of security deposit, etc. But for flexible workspace, we provide that flexibility and they don't have to pay such penalties. Because for the type of business that we operate, we can actually offer customer an office for a day, for short term, or the maximum of 5 years. The longest customer that we have been with us for, for I think 4 years as we speak now, and the term is 5 years. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so the partnership structure pretty much the same as other franchises. So the agreement is a franchise, and then the term is actually 10 years. So the operating term is 10 years. First 5 years of that is the development plan. And then you get to have an automatic renewal for 2 5 years. So it depends if the franchisee is compliant. And then the fit out, meaning putting the center into a Regis or IWG design. So that's care of the franchisee. But of course, International Workplace Group will provide for the layout, design, and will, of course, offer the accredited contractors that we currently have. All right. And then the franchise fee is actually a percentage of net revenue. So for those who are interested, you may actually connect with me via the franchise finder. If you click on that inquiry button, that email will be directed to me. Or alternatively, you can also send me an email. I will put on my email address on the chat box later on. All right. And then in terms of return, I would say market premium, because now we've been in the market for 32 years, 22 years in the Philippines, and we wouldn't survive that long if we don't have a resilient business model. So in terms of returns, I would say it's premium, and we can discuss that further should you be interested to explore a franchise opportunity with us. That's it for International Workplace Group. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rowena. Our next presenter is from the brand na tagapagpagaling ng Pilipinas. Let us welcome Mr. Emer Sanchez of TGP.
Good afternoon. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Let me start my presentation by asking two questions and addressing that to the entrepreneurs and potential franchises listening to this webinar right now. And this is crucial because you will be using your hard-earned money and savings when investing into a franchise or an establishment or a business. So the first question is, which of the businesses have you observed that have proven its resiliency amidst this pandemic, lockdowns, and quarantine? Which types of businesses are that? And the second question would be, which types of businesses were considered as an essential business by the government? And fortunately enough, ang drugstore business was qualified in these two critical questions. And sinasabi ko nga, crucial yon because marami nagsarang negosyo because of a lot of factors caused by and inconveniences caused by the pandemic. But one of those na nakita natin na nakatayo hanggang ngayon matatag would be drugstores or pharmacies. That's why, to start my presentation, I invite everyone to take a look at our business model, and I invite you to be tagapagpagaling ng Pilipinas. Samahan niyo kami, okay, with this franchise venture. Next slide, please. Okay, importante for you to look into a franchise business is, do you share the same vision and do you share the same mission? And our vision is to be a strong partner of every Filipino in providing quality, affordable, and accessible generic medicines and healthcare products across the country. Alright? Yun yung vision namin. Gusto namin sa community, sa masang Pilipino, makapaghandog tayo ng mga affordable and quality medicines all the time. Okay? Next slide, please. Alright, so why invest in TGP? Number one, we have very good margins. An average of 40% for TGP house brands. If you invest in, let's say, if you have a business like fast-moving consumer goods, you're only talking about probably 15-20%. In TGP, specifically when you sell the house brands, we're talking about 40% margins, right? We have the widest footprint nationwide among the drugstores, the different drugstore brands in the Philippines. We have 2,000 plus stores. And even the number one drugstore in the Philippines right now would only have about 1,000 branches nationwide. So we have 2,000 plus drugstores. Number three, yung na-mention kanina ni Cheryl, yung franchise fee. Our franchise fee is 300,000 and it is even offered on a deferred payment scheme. Pag sinabi natin deferred payment, pwede mo siyang bayaran ng partly cash and then partly PDC in a span of 9 years. 9 years. So ganun kaganda pagdating sa bayaran ng franchise fee. Ganun ka-flexible. Number four, flexible na nga yung franchise fee. We also offer programs for you to be more attractive in expanding in your franchise. We have programs that can waive the 300,000 franchise fee. For example, pag tinabihan mo si Mercury at less than 50 square meters, 50 meters, you'll have a free franchise. Number two, if you are a pharmacist and you want to manage the business, the store, no, you'll have a free franchise also. Marami pang mga pakulo and we will be glad to discuss that pagka nagkausap tayo. Alright? Of course, nakita niyo naman cover page, Jericho Rosales, Vilma Santos, we invest in media advertisements for us to strengthen further our equity. Alright? Another point is that walang seasonality po ang healthcare. No? Laging may nagkakasakit, laging may mga bibili ng gamot, may mga nagme-maintenance. So wala yung seasonality. Again, yung hard-earned money nyo, sulit no? Pag nag-invest kayo sa butika. And lastly, sabi natin kanina, yung one of the themes of this webinar is how do you avoid scams? Ano? TGP is part of the Robinsons Retail Group, which makes us stronger and stable in terms of our organization. Right? I'm sure marami sa inyo ang nakakilala sa Robinsons Retail and we are part of that subsidiary. All right? Next slide, please. Okay, as mentioned, no? We have 2,051 stores as of end March. No? We have about almost 500 in NCR, 1,000 combined North and South Luzon, Visayas about 300, and Mindanao about 200. That's why I would like to invite yung mga prospective natin na franchisees, particularly who are willing to invest in Visayas and Mindanao. Let's make Visayas and Mindanao's footprint more wider and marami hong opportunities to expand in Vismin. Next slide, please. All right. Again, talking about reputability and quality of the generic medicines that we sell, because let's admit it, meron pa rin a bulk of the population who has doubts in terms of the efficacy of generic medicines. So yung pinapakita lang namin dito sa slide na to, yung mga gamot na binibenta sa loob ng DGP are basically manufactured by reputable drug manufacturers like Sandoz, GlaxoSmithKline, Steinbach, Lloyd, Ambica, and drug makers. Right? So ang critical po dito is that yung binibenta ho nating gamot ginagawa ko ng mga hindi basta-bastang mga manufacturers. At lahat po ito ay may CPR or may license and also support by or certified by the Food and Drug Administration. All right, next slide please. Ang maganda ho dito sa slide na to yung target market. When you see the triangle and those red dotted lines and you basically add the math on the right side, 70% of the population of the economic class would be our target market. The target market of TGP are basically those that belong to C, D, and E. Particularly yung D and E, yung mga nasa, sabi nga nila, yung nasa laylayan ng lipunan. Yun po yung ating target market talaga. And that's basically the largest pie of the population. Alright? Kaya ito ho yung, because of that target market, ito ho yung mga kailangan nating tignan when picking or choosing a site. Next slide, please. All right, high foot traffic. Ito yung mga ideal components of a store location. So hinahanap natin dapat yung ipopropose nyo sa amin na store or na site should have high foot traffic because ang target market mo nga ay mga masang Pilipino. All right? It should be located within major trading areas. Okay, maraming negosyo sa tapat niya. All right? Maraming establishments, okay? Near competing drugstores, as I mentioned kanina, inside supermarkets, malls or shopping centers, and then as much as possible, like in Metro Manila kasi nakikita nyo, medyo dikit-dikit na ng content, medyo saturated na yung TGP. So for those that would be interested to submit sites sa amin po, ang tip namin sa inyo is submit a site to us which i-measure nyo yung mga malalapit na TGP. If you will submit more than 1 kilometer, okay, from these stores, right? Para hindi ko nagkakainan yung market, no? That's a higher probability. Yung mga site na yan would have a higher probability of being approved. And then, of course, the last point, we only need a minimum of 15 square meters. Alam naman mo ng karamihan ng mga negosyante na nanonood ngayon, the bigger the size of the store, no? The higher also would be the price per square meter. Ito, ang kailangan lang natin are just 15 square meters. Kaya po, next slide. Okay, ang kailangan lang po nating initial investment, no? Incorporating the 50% of the franchise fee which will be paying in cash. Okay, and other leasehold improvements kasi magpapagawa po kayo ng tindahan, yung POS na yung point of sale natin, yung kaha natin, and then may mga operating capital kayo. More or less, you can actually start the franchise at less than 700,000 pesos. Sagot na ho namin yung signage, no? Yung TGP signage, sagot na po namin. Now, nandyan ho yung breakdown kung paano natin ho makikita yung gagastusin natin. Kasi siyempre ho, you will, at the start, you will also have to pay down and deposits on the lease. No? Nandyan po yung component na yan. And then you also have to have a pharmacist. And medyo may premium ng konti yung sweldo ng pharmacist natin kasi lisensyado yan. You cannot have a pharmacy without a pharmacist. So very crucial po yan. Alright? And then other expenses. Ano? So less than 700,000 pesos, makakapagsimula na ho kayo ng TGP franchise at a minimum 15 square meters po. Alright? Next slide, please. Next slide, please. That's it. Maraming salamat. We invite you to be part of our family and be our kasama ko kayo sa pag-agapay sa ating mga kababayan, no? Na mailagpas natin itong pandemic na to and be part of being tagapagpagaling ng Pilipinas. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Sir Emmer. Let's now proceed to our last presenter. Stemming out from the idea that self-care need not to be expensive, this nails and body spa brand is your #1 spot for pampering and business choice. We are pleased to introduce the Business Development Officer of Nails.Glow Philippines, Mr. Raymark Almonia. You are muted, Sir Raymark.
Good afternoon to everyone. I think I'm already back. Thank you so much for having Nails.Glow to be part of this webinar. On behalf of our founders, Mr. Ferdy and Ms. Ana J. Opeña, we would like to extend our dearest gratitude to the whole PFA organization for all the support and guidance for all of its members. This afternoon, allow me to share with you all the franchise investment of Nails.Glow and let us help you to have your own dream business at the most reasonable fee. Next slide, please. All right, Nails.Glow started in August 29, 2009 with its first branch in Pag-asa, Quezon City, stemming out from the idea that nail and body care need not to be expensive. As of today, with almost 100 branches and a master franchise in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, we are so happy and that our ecstatic signature self-care service are now being received by many. As the company moves forward to its vision, Nails.Glow received several awards and recognitions from different entities. Nails.Glow offers a wide variety of service to its clients. From world-class nail services that will definitely glue you up, our massage and facial treatment that will surely calm and relax your body and mind. On top of this, we also have a waxing. We also have our threading and eyelash extension to fully pamper, the glamour of our clients. We also believe that it should not just be on our services. Next slide, please. So having a warm and cozy interior design will bring more relaxation to every customers. Formulating our own signature gel polish to ensure that the quality of our materials is top-notch. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So these are the interior design of Nails.Glow. All right, so next slide, please. All right, so now Nails.Glow is open for a franchise, for those individuals who view the same perspective, as we wanted to be part of a winning in a glowing culture. Our franchise fee is 400,000 pesos with a 5 years franchise contract. We will assist you in finding the location of your franchise unit including the site inspection, the drawing of the floor plan, the rendering of the store perspective, providing extensive training to your staff and equip them with all the knowledge they need to have once they operate the store, providing marketing and operations assistance to our franchisee to maintain the standards of the company and guide our franchisee towards success in this business. We will supply you all the initial items and equipment needed, so you don't have to worry, about sourcing and buying goods from other inventories. Now, if you're a person who also wants exclusivity to a specific region or country, we are also offering our area and master franchise. So, meaning to say a specific area or a country is just solely for you. Now, next slide, please. During this trying time, of the pandemic, we are proud that the company was still able to expand its asset and network by opening 5 more branches and sold non-franchise units in different regions. And we are set to open by the first week of the third quarter of 2021. Now, next slide. Now, if you want to know more, because our time is only limited, if you want to know more about this franchise opportunity, you may reach us through the details flashed on your screen right now, or you may also contact the PFA office using their hotline and website address, and we will be more than happy to assist you with this new business opportunity. Again, thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing from you on the next page. Keep safe and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you so much, Sir Raymark. We know that you are all excited to ask your questions, so let's start the Q&A. Jen, please ask the first question.
Thank you, Kat. Let's begin with Miss Rhea. So first question from our participant. Are there franchise agreements where the franchisor provides the employees you need? Miss Rhea? Hi, Miss Rhea. I would like to
Hello.
repeat the question.
Sorry.
Are there franchise agreements where the franchisor provides the employees you need? Is
There
it
are
included in the franchise agreement?
there are agreements that have that the franchisor will provide the employees, but these are rare. It's usually the franchisee who will look for their own employees. Ang typical na scenario is that the franchisor will have the criteria on what kind of staff you should hire for your own franchise business. Although very seldom that there are agreements that would include that the franchisor will hire the employees for the franchise.
Thank you, Miss
you.
Rhea.
Thank you, Ms. Rhea. Now, this question is actually for everyone. So, on product research and development, what if the franchisee was the one who came up with a fresh idea or something new? Can the franchisee raise this to the franchisor? So, maybe hear from Miss Diana.
Yes po.
One of the question is for on product research and development. So what if the franchisee was the one who came up with a fresh idea or something new? Can they raise it to you?
Yes naman po, kasi like our other business, may manufacturing firm naman po kami. So kung interested naman sila like sa mga toll manufacturing of beauty products, we can also do toll manufacturing for them. So no problem naman po.
Okay, thank you, Miss Diana. Now maybe hear from Sir Emmer.
Okay. We have an ongoing process we call product inclusion form or product inclusion request. Kasi there are products that might be, well, for one, siguro settle ko muna, no? Yung product portfolio ng TGP, ano yan, nakaset na yan. Alright? And in the franchise agreement, it is very clear that you only have to buy or source your product from your franchisor, okay, or from the commissary of the franchisor. However, we do also recognize that there are products that may be strong in a specific territory or area, right? Particularly food supplements that might not be still part of our product portfolio. So we welcome franchisees raising this or elevating it to us, suggesting it to us for us to consider through the product request form, or product inclusion form. Then we'll check it out. Is it worth buying that or sourcing that from the head office para in terms of volume mas malaki? Or is the volume small, so papayagan namin ang franchisee, let's say, you authorize namin to buy from that source. So yung mga ganun example. Another thing that I can think of would be, kasi kami we listen to franchises a lot, and we do host several meetings with them, online meetings now, dati face-to-face. If there are better ways of doing things, okay, we listen and then we adapt. It's just that hindi dapat selective yung pag-adapt mo. Once we feel and we believe in that idea, it has to be implemented nationwide. All right? So ganun yun. Anybody can have an input, but once we accept that idea, we will implement that nationwide. And then we recognize naman the franchisee kung saan ang galing yung idea na yun. Hindi kami madamot sa pag-share kung kanino nang galing yung idea. All right?
Thank you so much, Sir Emer. That was so nice to hear. So now may we hear from Sir Raymar.
Hi. Yeah, for this, like, yes, we are open for that suggestion. Because I think all of the franchisors or the company right now is also considering their franchisee as their business partners. So sometimes they also have some ideas, they also have some innovative ideas that they wanted to share to the company. And then probably it can help, di ba, para mag-grow pa yung mother company natin. And yun nga, yung sinabi kagaya ni Sir Elmer that it takes years of evaluation because it will affect the franchise system as a whole.
Thank you, Sir Raymar. Now may we hear from Ms. Rowena.
Sure. So for IWG, we do listen to our franchisees. So be it a product that they wanted to propose, or any development ideas that they wanted to put forward on the table, we certainly do that. Well, in fact, we've actually acquired several brands for a number of years. So that means diversifying further our portfolio and whatever products that the brand currently sell, we adopt that not only for a particular market but across the globe. So yes, definitely we listen to product recommendations by franchisees.
Thank you, Ms. Rowena. For Ms. Camille, how does it work for you, Fran, for the brands that you handle? Were you able to go by that question or by a potential franchisee, or can you share?
Yes, ma'am. As a franchise consultant who deals with both the franchisees and the franchisors, minsan dumadaan din sa amin yung franchisees regarding dyan niya sa product innovation. So, good thing naman kasi most of the brands that we handle are very open and they are very flexible in having new, like for example, for the food cart, new flavors and other product offerings. So, of course, it has to undergo lang certain research pa rin para for the supplier. So most of the products that we handle, they are very flexible, and not just with the new product offerings. There are some brands din na very open sila and nagbibigay din sila ng reward or recognition to new marketing efforts or mga campaigns na may isip din ng mga franchises. So yun po.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Camille. Now, I think this question is also applicable to Inlife, Insular, Sir Sean. I am assuming people are also wondering how do you come up with new products, as of course the times are always changing.
I'm sorry. Hello.
Yes, sir. Sir, the question is, a product research and development the question for the franchisors is what if the franchisee was the one who came up with the idea if they are open. So on your end, as a healthcare provider, maybe the question is how do you go about your product research and development? How do you come up with new products for your clients?
Well, for us, Miss Kat, for example, for our newly designed product, actually, this came from the existing product na namin. So before, kailangan office-based lang talaga siya. But we noticed based from study then that para mabigyan namin ng mas magandang service yung mga clients namin, is pinapattern namin siya, or we do benchmarking para at least ma-compare namin yung product namin to our competitors, and at the same time what really works for our clients. That is why in-enhance lang namin siya. So that's how we do the research po.
If I may add just one thing lang, I mentioned kanina that we are open for suggestions in as far as increasing our product portfolio. I-highlight ko lang that since we are in a highly regulated business, yung pinapayagan namin na produkto na pwede namin ikunin coming from the suggestion of the franchisee should have at the very minimum a certificate of product registration coming from the FDA. Alright, so hindi kami basta-basta papayag na basta-basta produkto lang at walang lisensya. So kailangan may FDA approval to.
Thank you for that clarification, sir. Ms. Rhea, do you want to add anything more to what the speakers already said?
So generally naman, yung franchisors are open to suggestions or good ideas coming from franchisees. It's just that those ideas and suggestions have to undergo yung proseso ng evaluation because it has to fit yung image or yung concept ng brand. So, pag sila magtatampo kung hindi tanggapin yung idea nila because ultimately, yung franchisor is trying to protect the brand. They want to make sure that whatever it is that you are suggesting will be beneficial for the brand, beneficial for all the franchisees as well as the company-owned stores.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rhea. For our third question, it is also for all the franchisor brands. So when buying in stocks in the stock market, you get to see the performance of that stock throughout the years. So in franchising, is there a same source of that performance report of franchise brands or companies? Do you want to go first, Mr. Emmer?
Oh, we do have we do have business reviews with our franchisees. Wherein other than their own franchise, that we discuss on their performance, we also share yung performance ng category nationwide. Kasi yung mga ganun, wala silang idea. So, papakita namin sa kanila how are the different brands or categories performing on a nationwide basis. First is they will share their performance based on their area of assignment. So, for example, if you have 3 or 4 franchise stores, ano ba yung naging performance nila by store or by category? Kami naman isi-share din namin yung performance ng mga categories and yung mga development sa mga categories on a national scale. So ganun yung ginagawa. On their end naman din, especially those franchises that are corporate, structured yung organization, may departments sila which are responsible for their business analytics. Yung mga franchises through their POS, they can track their performance by brand, by SKU, by brand, by category, and by location. So, pwedeng makita yung performance ng franchisee sa tindahan niya. Pwede rin kami mag-share ng performance ng category pangkalahatan nationwide.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Sir Emmer. How about Nails.Glow?
Right. For Nails Like Glow, we have our before we have a yearly annual franchise conference where we gather all the franchisee nationwide. And then that's the best place to present what are the future plans of the company, present what are the growth, what are the challenges of the company all throughout the year so that they will also be part. So para ma-excite yung mga existing franchisee na ito pala, yung plano ng mother company natin, ito pala yung mga expect namin within a couple of months. And on that place also, we want them to share their experiences. So, kumbaga parang meron din kaming mga roundtable discussions. So para makuha namin, at the end of the day, we can gather informations, opinions, and their reactions on how we can able to improve pa yung aming service and our management overall with our franchise. Thank you.
Thank you. How about Miss Diana Stalder? Okay, let's proceed first to Miss Rowena of IWG.
Sure. So I am very much familiar with the dashboard that you're talking about on the stock market. So for IWG, happy to say that we have some sort of a similar dashboard. So we call that the performance dashboard. So from day one that the franchisee has signed up with us, they get to have an access to that performance dashboard. It's very detailed actually. So our business may look very simple, but I tell you, it's highly operational. So the performance dashboard actually covers all the sales metrics that you need to refer to on a day-to-day basis. So just to run a few, this pertains to the inquiries that we receive for the site, which location, how many deals have we converted for that particular center, the number of tours that's scheduled for that location, as well as the number of upcoming renewals of customers, any pre-terminations or early terminations that are happening, and uncollected receivables from customers. We also have the NPS or customer rating there. So I tell you, if we are running a diagnostic company, we always tell ourselves that we seem to be running a diagnostic company because we have a very detailed performance dashboard, which our franchisees find it very useful to use. And then we also make reference to that whenever we have the performance reviews, and that usually happens on a quarterly basis. Now, during this pandemic, we hold bi-monthly business reviews with our franchisee, of course, to understand how are they doing with the business, as well as assist them with whatever help they need from us.
Okay, that's good to know, Miss Rowena. How about in behalf of your clients, Miss Camille? Do you know any performance report?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, this pandemic has taught everyone to make use of the technology or the technology. So we have most some of our brands are using dashboard wherein as same with what Ms. Rowena have mentioned, on the day one of the operation pa lang, they can track yung performance ng each SKU nila. And the good thing about this dashboard is that it is accessible not just yung franchisee na nandito sa Philippines, but also yung mga partners nila or relatives nila na nag-invest out na mga OFW. So very easy yun para for them to track the performance of the store or of the each SKU. And aside from the dashboard na may report siya daily, it will also generate a monthly report para nakikita siya ng mga franchisees kung ano yung naging performance ng store niya the whole month. So aside from that, most of our brands then, they conduct a monthly or quarterly business review with their franchisees. So that's it.
All right. I think Miss Diana has a technical problem. So you may proceed, Kat, with the next question. Hi, there you go. Hi, Miss Diana.
There's Miss Diana.
Yes po.
Yes, ma'am. So, do you have a performance report for your franchisees, like annual or monthly?
Meron naman po kaming nire-recorden ng mga report sa kanila for monthly para makita rin po natin kung nag-generate nga po sila ng income. Kung kulang naman po, we try to support them naman with our operations management.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so for our third question, I think this is a quick round for everyone. The question is, will the store employees receive training from the franchisor? So maybe we could start with Sir Emmer.
We
Okay,
do,
we
we
got
do conduct, community pharmacy training. Before pre-pandemic, it's face-to-face. However, we developed that into a learning management system, wherein now what we teach store personnel face-to-face or live can now be viewed online. They will have an access in terms of our our learning management system for community pharmacy training. So lahat na yun, pag community pharmacy training from particularly on ang focus would be product knowledge and government rules and regulations pertaining to drugstores. Even computations of senior citizen and PWD discount are very important. Key component ng learning management system na yun. We call it now the TGP Academy.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now may we hear from Sir Rimar.
For our training, ma'am, we have our own training center in here at Quezon City. So before, our franchisee send their staff to our training center to attend a certain time for their training program. But now we are now also adapting to the new normal. We are disposing videos, rounding videos na parang sinushoot na namin kung paano yung procedure on how to clean the utensils, on how to do the procedure in this kind of services. And we also conduct webinars to our staff and upcoming new employees so that maiwasan namin o malesen namin yung face-to-face and malesen yung transmission of the virus.
Okay, thank you, sir. How about for Miss Diana?
Yes po.
Trainings for do you conduct the trainings for the employees of the franchisees?
Yes po. Before we start naman po na magbigay ng mga franchise, lagi po sila may training sa amin ng 3 to 6 months para mas mabihasa po sila in terms of our services. Para once na okay na po yung sistema and okay na rin po yung franchisee, madali po natin isabi kung how effective, how efficient din po yung mga therapists natin pagdating ng mga products and services namin.
All right, thank you, ma'am. How about for Ms. Rowena?
Hi, sorry for the delay. Yep, we provide training. Aside from that, we also assist on the hiring of their staff members. And the people who conduct the training are our core personnel themselves. So like for a community manager, we actually have our community team leader who assists on the training. And then for the area manager role, it's either the leader or area manager or the country manager himself.
Thank you, Ms. Rowena. How about Ms. Camille based from the brands that you handle?
Training is actually part of the franchise package most of the time. So it's really a requirement po na mag-undergo ng training, not just yung mga tatao dun sa tindahan or sa mga crew, but also the franchisee for them to know the operation, the in and out of the business. So sa training, there is a strict requirement po na dapat yung tao na pinadala nila is papasa or would be qualified before po natin i-deploy sa kanya-kanyang store. So, with the training naman right now, nag-adjust na din po yung different brands that we handle. Most of them are doing online training. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Camille. Sir, for Sir Sean, of course, walang franchisee. So, how do you go about this with your agents, recruitment, especially now that the times are, of course, not permitting most of the face-to-face training. So, how do you go about it on acquiring more agents for your healthcare service?
Yes, Miss Kat, I actually agree that this year is very challenging for every one of us because we transitioned before na face-to-face. Ngayon, we have to adopt na sa new normal wherein kailangan, it's like everything is online na. So what we did right now, though it's very challenging and everyone is still adjusting, so yung mga agents namin, we conduct free training sa kanila virtually. So that's, I think, siguro in the context ng Insular Healthcare, yun yung training na binibigay namin sa kanila. So we do some seminars, or we require them to attend this kind of seminars for them to be able na makasabay dun sa new normal ngayon. Kasi especially before, the way we sell our product or service is face-to-face talaga. We normally visit the company, but right now we are prohibited to do that. So yeah, I think that's one of the trainings na binibigay namin dun sa mga agents namin in the context of HMO.
All right, thank you, sir. Jen, you may now proceed.
Yes, so we have the last question for Miss Rhea. So can you provide statistics or how many franchises closed last year, and how much percentage is it from the remaining standing franchise stores? So we
Hirap
have...
naman hirap naman tanong mo sa atin. Parang, I think the brand representatives could answer that better.
All right.
Sa pressure ako doon sa tanong mo.
How about for TGP? So
Hey,
do you have a statistics on how many franchises closed last year?
Even if I said my opening statement wherein TGP has proven its resilience, no, amidst the pandemic and the lockdowns and the quarantine, it is not without challenges. Maraming challenges yan. Number one, we thrive on foot traffic. Right? We thrive on foot traffic. Yan yung magdadala sa amin. Considering that ang target market mo nga is masang Pilipino. Bigla mo ngayon kinwarantine. Bigla mo ngayon di-lockdown. Biglang nagkaroon ngayon ng mga unemployment. At na-extend yung unemployment na yun. So, naapektuhan din. So, I will not deny that there are closures. But ang caveat naman nun is that because of the resiliency, no, na naobserbahan ng mga entrepreneurs, marami din nagbubukas. A lot of our time are now being spent on evaluating site applications. Alright? Maraming interesadong magbukas. May mga talagang hindi may iwasan na tatamaan. I'll give you an example. Kahit temporary closure lang siya, no? Resorts, Siargao, Boracay, di ba? Baguio, alright? Ang daming mga tao niyan, lalo na sa mga resorts. And sa mga resorts, may mga butika dyan. Nasaan ang mga tao sa resorts na yun? Diba? Bawal pumunta ngayon sa mga resorts. So talagang inevitable, may tatamaan. Pero, on a totality, ang lakas pa, sabi ko nga, nasasalo yung closure, nasasalo ng mga nagbubukas. Alright? Considering that they've acknowledged na dito, pag nag-invest ako rito, hindi talo. Alright? Meron lang talaga na mga naapektuhan because of certain, particularly on foot traffic and the depressed economy. Right? Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Emmer. How about Sir Mark? Do you have an insight regarding this?
Yeah, for news like Lou, kasi we are most probably located inside a mall base kasi. So medyo mababa yung kumbaga mas mababa yung damage amin nung closure kasi yung mga malls din naman kasi hindi din naman kami charge ng rent kapag nag-mandate yung government that self-care services should be stopped temporarily. So yung rent namin nag-i-stop din. So kahit pa paano nakakatulong yun para ma-sustain namin yung operations expense namin. Unlike of course, meron din itong mga collateral damage, of course yung mga outside mall namin which is yun yung tuloy-tuloy pa din yung mga charges ng landlords. So cannot do about it but we temporarily submit a letter for a closure until such time na maging okay na ulit yung market. But hindi naman siya ganun kadami. Out of our almost 100 branches, parang hindi lalagpas ng 10 yung talagang naapektuhan sa amin. And those are all located outside ng mall. So that's the good thing when you're partnering with a good establishment and developer. So talagang you help each other towards this crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Raymart. How about Miss Diana?
Ayan. During the pandemic, we try to pivot our business. We do online selling like through Shopee, Lazada. Then, nagkaroon din tayo ng avenue like Lalamove, Grab, para mas maging malapit kami rin sa mga customer namin and consumer in terms of our products. But in terms of the service, minsan on, off, so medyo eradicated pa rin siya. But sa product-wise, laging dire-diretso pa rin since may Lalamove, Grab, Shopee, Lazada to cater naman our business.
Thank you, Miss Diana. How about Miss Rowena?
So for IWG, fortunately, none of our franchisees have closed their stores. Though they have been affected at the onset of the pandemic, our industry is actually the first to be hit during pandemic because there are companies who actually closed down operations and had to terminate their services from us. So we were the first to be hit. But happy to say that we were also the first to recover. And having said that, during pandemic, our franchisees have actually acquired some of our sites within their particular cluster and even setting up additional centers as part of the development plan. So we're not stopping. We're actually cementing ourselves, preparing ourselves towards the economic recovery. Given that in terms of format of working, we're mostly geared now into hybrid working, and that would work. That actually works best for us given our business model.
Thank you, Miss Rowena. And last, Miss Camille, how about you? Some of your clients, do you have some information?
Okay. Actually, ito yung, frankly speaking, ito yung part na nakakalungkot, no? As a franchise consultant to see your clients na medyo naapektuhan talaga yung operations. And I have clients na who closed kasi their location po mostly located siya sa mga mall. So alam niyo naman po yung nangyari sa mga food cart or mga kiosk na businesses. So nagsara po sila during the ECQ, but fortunately nung unti-unti na pong nag-lift yung quarantine, bumalik na din sila, but not as kalaki yung sale as before, pero good thing is they partnered na with the GrabFood, Food Panda, ganyan. And there are some franchisees naman po na they relocate. So from the mall area, nagkaroon sila ng, they chose na lang to have a store outside kasi yun yung mas pinupuntahan ng mga tao po ngayon. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much, Miss Camille. So moving on.
Yes, okay. So there you have it. We truly had a wonderful sharing of information. In the interest of time, you may contact directly our franchise presenters and our partners for your specific questions about their franchise business opportunity. But before we come to an end, allow us to conduct a short survey to know which brands you would like to get in touch with. Please note that by participating in this poll, you agree to share your email, name, and contact number to our presenters. This will help them contact you for their franchise packages. You may select multiple brands based on your interest. While our participants are answering our survey, may we kindly ask our resource speakers and presenters for a brief closing or parting words. So may we start with Miss Diana?
Medyo nawawala po kasi kayo kanina.
Yes, ma'am. Closing remarks, ma'am. Parting words for our participants.
For our product naman po kasi you may simply search us sa Facebook namin, sa Instagram, meron na rin po kami. Sa clinic po namin is located at Basement 2 Gateway Mall. Pagdating kasi sa mga services, we really aim for the best quality. So, most of our staff are trained under me rin po since graduate naman po ako ng pharmacy at the same time licensed esthetician from United Kingdom. So, lahat ng credentials po namin usually is worldwide na rin po. So, yun po.
Thank you, Miss Diana. Now
Yun
may we
po.
hear from Miss Camille.
I think thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with us, and I think congratulations to everyone po who have taken the first step in your franchise journey. Kung saan yung pag-attend po ng mga ganitong very informative na webinar. So I hope at some point we made you feel confident na din to invest in a franchise business. So looking forward to helping you in your franchise journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Camille. Now, before we proceed, may I encourage our other participants to please participate in the poll. So now may we hear from Sir Sean.
Right. So before, like what I have said, kanina, thank you so much for giving us a platform like this, especially sa mga participants natin today. Siguro one takeaway, but before we end this is that since marami ng mga nare-retrench ngayon sa because of the pandemic, I think for some who is very capable na I think it's really time or it's a sign for everyone to maybe it's time for us to start our own business. At least we're in tayo yung sariling boss. So yun, I think yeah, congratulations PFA for this kind of platform.
Thank you, Sir Sean. Now may we hear from Ms. Rowena.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pick up a very popular quote now from Winston Churchill. That is, never waste a good crisis. So as I know, most of you are actually investing in stocks at this time that the market is down. So it's pretty much similar to investing in a franchise opportunity. So with franchise, franchisors have proven business model and have resilient business model. Otherwise, they would not be able to franchise their businesses. So you've heard from all of the speakers. Now, if there's any interest, please feel free to reach out to me and, of course, to my co-speakers. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Rowena. Now may we hear from Sir Emer.
All right. I'll just go back to our vision, that we want to be a strong partner of every Filipino in providing affordable quality medicines nationwide. So I invite everyone who's listening to this webinar right now to be part of being tagapagpagaling ng Pilipinas. Let's serve the community. Let's bring it back to the community, and be part of this family where we have now 2,000 franchise stores nationwide. Grow with us and be part of TGP The Generics Pharmacy. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Emer. Now may we hear from Sir Remark.
All right, so first of all, I would like to thank you, PFA, for giving us a platform, to showcase our brand and our services, and to all of netizens who are.
Sir Remark. Yeah, maybe we lost Sir Remark. Ms. Rhea, maybe now hear your closing statements.
So for me, nabanggit ko na to kanina, na for aspiring business owners, you need to have basic understanding of accounting and finance because that is the language of business. And for you to be able to manage something such as a business, you need to be able to understand yung kanyang language, which is for a business, it's numbers, accounting and finance.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Rhea. Jen?
So there you have it. Thank you so much once again to our speakers and presenters, and of course to our participants for staying with us. This webinar is co-presented by BPI, PLDT Enterprise, Inlife Insular Healthcare, and International Workplace Group.
Thank you, everyone. This has been Kat Teresa wishing everyone a great afternoon. Keep safe, stay healthy, and God bless everyone.
Yes, Kat, maraming salamat for staying with us. This webinar is recorded. To view it again, just visit our Facebook and YouTube page at Philippine Franchise Association or to our website at www.franchisefinderph.com. Again, thank you so much for your support. This has been Jen Canseco until the next How to Invest in the Right Franchise webinar. Stay safe and God bless everyone.